right. What is up, everybody? Let's get right down to it. The Liver King freaking lied. No kidding. I will admit, I believe because I'm a very optimistic person. Not necessarily, for people, I don't like to think bad of people, but also I was hoping that perhaps I too could achieve that method without that physique without using steroids, because I'm a big fan of biohacking and hacking science, and I'm like, maybe there's some trick that most people don't know about that maybe I could figure it out. But part of me knew. I knew. It's just there's no way you can do that. And yeah, guy is totally not natural, and no kidding. And everybody is holding his feet to the fire for it. But what's interesting is him out on Instagram after the scandal broke, and it seemed that he didn't lose a lot of followers. So it'd be very fascinating to see whether or not his business completely collapses, or if he actually rebounds and just keeps on going. Will this apology suffice? And make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to tie all of this into how we as young men can learn from this and avoid these pitfalls going later. But first off, let's just rate the apology video. On the one hand, it's a plus for me because he actually apologizes. It's not one of those videos where they just beat around the bush and talk about how good they are and whatnot. I mean, he does do that, but he actually says the words, "I made a mistake and what I did was wrong and I am sorry." A lot of apology videos, they don't even contain an apology, but he actually said that. But and that makes apology video a bit more palatable for me, in that he immediately launches into, I did what I did because people are committing suicide and stuff because they're not living their greatest life. It's like, yeah, it's like he immediately positions himself as a moral hero, as if that makes lying any better. The ends don't justify the means. You lied and deceived millions of people. I'm assuming believed him, but there's a lot of people who know nothing about fitness and know nothing about dieting or working out, and they believed that if they just did what he did, they would get that big, and that's not true. And I think that would actually, the disappointment that some of those people feel when they realize that he's cheating and using steroids might actually stop them from going back to the gym, might actually keep them from sticking to a diet. It might actually have the opposite effect. So, lying is never good, because when it comes out, and it often undoes any sort of good thing that you were trying to do. So just because you're trying to do a good thing, if you do it in a bad way, people are going to associate the good thing that you were trying to do with the bad thing, and it will undo any good progress that you may have made. And so honestly, this comes down to can we just be honest with ourselves and be authentic and preach our message without lying? We live in a very, social media driven age where everything has to be extreme in order to get attention quickly. You realize that if you look at other entrepreneurs and people who have been doing it for 10 years, like Gary Vee, it took a long time for them to get traction. But the reason they're around 10, 20 years into their career and still going strong is because they're authentic. They don't lie. They don't pretend to be something else. They are who they are, and they learn how to be great at being who they are and give whatever product it is they're selling of them just being who they are. So what can we learn from this? A short-term gain for bad lying is it always goes away. Easy come, easy go. So if you're a young man and you're thinking, maybe I should cheat a little bit, maybe I should lie about this or that to cut in and get it, oftentimes, if you do have a moral conscience, it will haunt you. You might not be able to sleep well at night. That'll affect your emotions, might affect your personal life as well. Who knows? And then also, if it comes out, there's a very strong chance that you will lose everything that you got, or you will lose relationships that actually meant something to you. And so it's always great to be honest up front, and anything that comes fast can also be lost quickly. A lot of times, the things that we really, really want and need in life take a long time to build, but then they also last a lot longer after that. You want to be thinking on like a 30, 20, 40-year time horizon, not necessarily, I want to be rich today and I'll do anything to get it. Because if you're not in tune with who you are, then you're probably going to force yourself to do things that don't actually like doing. And if you do succeed in getting what you want, you'll realize that it did make you happy and now, in order to keep the success that you got, you have to continue doing the thing that you don't like. And now you're in that bad position because you didn't figure out who you were and you didn't operate from a position of authenticity. So now you're stuck in this successful position that you don't want to lose, but you're not happy. And so operating from a place of personal honesty, as in you're honest with yourself, you're not lying to yourself, and you're actually congruent with who you say you are and who you actually are and who you're trying to become is actually congruent. That is a recipe for a lot more sustainable growth, sustainable success that will last you to the end of your lifetime, as opposed to some short flash in the pan success that could be completely undone once your lies are revealed. So I would encourage you guys, don't lie, don't cheat, become synchronized with yourself, figure out who you are, and then practice and become a master of being who you are, being authentic, and then just put in ridiculous amounts of work into something that you actually like doing for the long run, and eventually you'll be more successful, and there won't be any lies haunting you, and there won't be any scandals that can undo your success once you have it. And so those are my thoughts on the Liver King. I hope that we can learn something from this. I want to hear your thoughts though. Leave down below. Let's get right on into Kanye West. First off, I want to talk about Ye and say that my heart goes out to him. He's obviously suffering from a mental breakdown. Mental health is a very serious thing. It's not something to be made light of or mocked or laughed at, and I do believe that he's genuinely suffering, and he needs help. I want him to get therapy. I want him to get help. I want him to get better. With that being said, completely unacceptable the things that he has stated, and I would like to make my position completely clear. The Holocaust happened, and it was evil, and Hitler was evil. All right, that is my position, and so I find it completely horrifying what Ye has said, and what he said is just completely wrong. And not only is his opinion wrong, like he said in the Alex Jones interview that I don't believe the Holocaust happened. That's whatever. That's wrong. Like that's factually incorrect. But then his behavior was also messed up too, because it's one thing to have an opinion, have your own opinion about history and be like, oh, I don't think that happened, it's a lie. Like, that's an opinion. It's a destructive opinion, but it's not as bad as, like, deliberately going out of your way and being racist, which is exactly what he did. He told racist jokes about Ben Shapiro. He did something clever. He got a net and a bottle of Yahoo and said it was Netanyahu, the president or prime minister of Israel, and just went. It was actually hard for me to watch. I don't even want to think about it because it was actually kind of like creepy just seeing this full-grown man deteriorate in that interview. And I have Alex Jones be the rational one trying to pull him back from the brink of insanity. And so, but the thing I want to focus on is he had a Bible with him. And he was trying to express something, and as a Christian, I could kind of guess what he was trying to express. He said, God loves everybody, and we're supposed to love everybody. That is true. However, but he stops there. He completely misunderstands what love is and what it's for. Love is good. God is good. Therefore, God is love. Hatred is evil. Okay? Good cannot allow for injustice to be perpetrated. And so love does not mean turning a blind eye to injustice. Love does not allow evil to continue unchallenged. And so it's actually a very unloving thing to do, to just bat an eye at evil and just be like, whatever, I'm going to love the person that did it anyway. No, not That's unacceptable. That's not love at all. Love holds people accountable. It does it in a certain way, but it definitely for their actions. And the idea that you could just take the Bible and be like, oh, I'm supposed to love everybody, therefore I don't think Hitler was a bad guy. No, just because you love someone doesn't mean that you are blind to the evil that they do. Like, my closest friends, if they do something bad, like if they cheat on their girl or something, I'm gonna be like, bro, what the heck is up with that? What are you doing? Like, I'm gonna call them to task on it. Love does not mean not holding people accountable. And so the idea is like, oh, I think Hitler was a good guy and I don't have a problem with him because, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's very, very damaging to see someone that popular and so influential influencing people and just being like, oh, I guess, yeah, it's I think that's really, really problematic. And so if you want to ask me the question, how would I love Hitler, a very bad guy, if we're supposed to love everyone? Okay, I would tell him the gospel. I'd give him 30 minutes to think about it, and then I would execute him as punishment for his crimes. Love does not, you do not hold people accountable. It would be horrifically unloving to the 6 million victims of the Holocaust to do anything less to Hitler. Just think about it. You have to love all people, and love does not allow injustice to go unpunished. So therefore, if you love all of the victims, you have to punish the person who did the awful thing. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And of course, this comes up to the next thought about this is the idea of like free speech. Oh, I should be able to say whatever I want. It's the public square. Some people are pissed off that he got banned off of Twitter. And we'll talk about how that brings in with Elon Musk being a free speech absolutist, but yet still banning people for speaking their mind. And how do you know if it incites violence or not? We'll get to that. But let me preface all of that with this. We say Twitter is essentially the town square, therefore it should be uncensored and unregulated. But I would propose, let me tell you a quick story to propose a little bit of an alternative solution to that. You're in the town square, and you are having a kind, respectful, cordial, civil debate about the nature of the human mind and consciousness. You think one thing about it and he thinks the other one. And then, so it's you disagree on something very important, but you're being kind and respectful, and it's a civil interaction. And then some drunk guy walks in there, it's like, yeah, you're wrong about this, and you're wrong about that, and this is how it is. Also, your mother's gay. You're like, no. You're gonna throw him out of the town square and let him be drunk somewhere else because he's not participating in civil conversations. And so just because Twitter is the town square and free speech is a thing, which I deeply believe in, I love free speech, I love freedom of expression, and I hate cancel culture. But you can't just be, all freedoms come with respect. You can't just walk into a crowd of people, rattle off a bunch of nonsense, and expect to be treated, like expect nothing to happen. I don't think that's fair. That's not fair to the people there who are putting in the work to restrain their anger during the tough conversations, who are keeping it cordial, who are keeping it nice, decent, and civil and respectful. It's not right for them to have to put up with the disrespectful idiots who are making a mockery of the discourse that's going on. It's not right for that. And so I do believe that there should be some sort of moderation, some sort of censorship, especially when it comes to incitement of violence. However, who gets to determine if it incites violence? That's very difficult because I don't think you can actually pinpoint violence to a tweet. So, for example, if someone throws a brick through a restaurant window, you arrest them, and you go up to them and it's like, why did you throw that brick through the window? Well, I saw this one tweet by that one guy, and that made me want to do it. And it's like, oh, that particular tweet is an incitement to violence. Ban that account. Like, that's not going to happen. that there's too many variables for that to be a thing. And so I think when it's impossible to actually get, we should just agree upon and set standards. And one of the standards that we should have is no racism, no anti-Semitism. And, and I think that's fair. So I think it's fair, even though I support free speech and I support everyone expressing themselves, I think it's fair that he got banned, because what he was saying was erratic, wasn't cordial, and yeah, it was definitely dangerous. And so I believe in free speech, and I'm not sure how Elon Musk rationalizes being a free speech absolutist and yet still. But I'm sure he has his reasons, but those are my reasons. I think what he said was awful. I wish him the best. I hope he gets help, learns from his mistakes, apologizes, and repents, and then, seeks forgiveness and goes on to be a positive contributor to human society. Those are my thoughts on Ye and his big mental breakdown, but I want to hear your thoughts because I know you guys are intelligent as well. Leave your comments down below, and if you inspire me, I just might make a video responding to your comment, because that's how this works. You're smart, and I think I'm smart. Let's have the conversation. Let's go. Speaking of conversations that didn't happen because Twitter banned them unfairly, the Hunter Biden files. And it's ironic, this story isn't even about the Hunter Biden laptop. It's about Twitter not allowing people to talk about it because they had some info that it might be fake. But I'm sure you're aware that Elon Musk released all of the Twitter emails, and what a crap show that was. Basically, someone high up in the company was like, nah, blocked. And then they very soon realized that was a bad idea. And instead of just being like, hey, you know what, that was a bad idea, let's undo that and settle this thing right now. Oh, they just first and tripled down. And absolutely ridiculous. And so I read all of them, and I'm like, okay, this person made a decision, and instead of correcting the decision fairly, they just dove headlong in and didn't stop. It took forever to get Jack Dorsey involved, which again, kind of shout out to Jack Dorsey. Kind of thought he was like a big censorship guy. Apparently that wasn't his idea, and it took him forever to resolve it. And now everybody's angry about it. But what's interesting, if you look down through the thread, 6th, I think it was, when they interviewed some Democratic congressman or whatever, they said the First Amendment is not absolute. And that might tie back into what I said before. I don't like to assume what people meant. It's like the First Amendment's not absolute, which means we get to control everything and you don't have free speech. I'm sure they had other ideas of what they meant. And so I try really, really hard not to just that and make all of the assumptions, especially since I don't know what that person was thinking. I don't want to commit the mind-reading fallacy. But there clearly is a divide on what free speech is and what it's actually for. And, I think that people need to be more open to the fact that, hey, you're an independent human being and you're allowed to speak your mind. And, we talked about earlier that, yes, I do think there should be some things protected on the platform because we don't want bullying and, idiocy running rampant. But at the same time, when someone just references a news article, it's not like it's a major trade. Like I think it was a New York Times article that came out, and you're like, oh my God, somebody read the article and then mentioned it on my site. I should stop them from mentioning a public article published by, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. And so clearly there needs to be sort of reckoning, some sort of fixing, and I'm not quite sure what it is, because do we want regulation of, Twitter? Do we want regulation, it depends on what kind of regulation you have, because for social media, everyone's like, oh, it's unregulated. I want to be able to say what I want, but what about the people in control of the social media? Should there be regulations for them? And should they be held accountable to the decisions that they make? And, that's why I'm actually kind of a fan of Mark Zuckerberg, because he created that third-party system then they could make the decisions. And I think that's actually a smart way to go. And I hope Elon Musk goes that way as well. Maybe even just uses that party that's already there. Yeah, was it nothing? No, it took forever to roll out, but once things came out, I was like, okay, that's interesting. I personally was waiting for some earth-shattering news that would like change everything because it was kind of hyped up to be that. I think some people are overhyping it a little bit. I do think it matters. I do think it means something, but I don't think it's as big a deal as everyone's acting like. I think everyone is taking their anger towards the opposite side, using this as a great opportunity to fuel that, and then taking all of their assumptions about people on the opposite side and being like, hey, this person's committed treason. This person's a traitor. It's like, I read through the thread. I'm like, was it actually collusion? I don't know. You guys are smart. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I would hope to hear from you. The audio seems to cut out for half a second from time to time. It's usually an important word. Okay. Well, one, thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. I just looked at the chat now. And if you have a question for me, I will answer it. And I will try to get that audio fixed. Perhaps it's just clipping and I need to make it a little bit better. We'll see. But thanks so much for being here, guys. And I really appreciate everyone who comes in and watches these videos. I'm hoping to get this channel into something, really meaningful that I can love and also enjoy doing and make a full-time living from. And so if you want to see where this goes and how it all works out, I would love to hear your guys' feedback. I will investigate the mic and try to figure that out. And I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And I want to hear your comments down below and get your opinion on things. So you guys have a great, fantastic